welcome to the Twisted Threads podcast. You're watching episode 4, and I am Stacy, your host, coming to you from the Sierra Nevada mountains in California. I just wanted to thank everybody for coming and watching me today. If it's your first time, thank you so much for checking me out, and I hope you like it. If you do, please give me a like and a subscribe if you want to keep watching my videos. If you don't, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not everyone's cup of tea or coffee. In that case, look at this cute little mug. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. It is so crazy to think that people want to watch me talk about knitting. So that's still blowing my mind. But thank you so much for coming back. So today is Monday, May 28th. It's Memorial Day here in the States, and I just wanted to thank everyone who has a family member or a friend who was a service member who lost their lives fighting for our country. I personally don't have any relatives that have, but we do have close friends that have relatives and brothers and sisters that have served and are no longer with us. So just to get that out of the way, since that is today, that is very important to me, so we will just get right into it. As I said before, this is coffee in my little elephant mug to match my little elephants here. Done on purpose. I did not do that on purpose. Get that out of the way. Typically, I record on Fridays or Saturdays and put up the video the same day. Since this last weekend was Memorial Day weekend, my husband and I went and did some serious garage sailing, and I did not have time. I barely had time to knit in the car between garage sales, so I figured today was better than nothing, and we'll just get right into it. I have a couple of finished objects, starting with the first one, if I can reach it. I put them a little too far out of reach there. I have finished my Longing for Spring socks. I have one pair of sock blockers, and I may have finished another pair of socks, so that's why they're not both on a sock blocker, but here they are. They are knit out of Quince & Company Turn for the body. I used one 50-gram skein for both socks, so I wound it up into a cake, and then I split the cake into two 25-gram skeins, so they would be the exact same length, and I could get the most bang for my buck out of them. Started from toe up. Toes, heels, and cuffs are Cascade Heritage Silk. Don't remember the color offhand, but I will put it in the notes so you can see it. It's just kind of this dusty beige creamy color, not white, not beige, but a little somewhere in between. This is the Longing for Spring sock pattern by Iowa Coffee, I believe, and I love them. They're little flowers. They're not super stretched out, so you can't really see the lace super well, but it's a little flower detail. And like I said last time when I had finished one sock, I did do the leg a little differently than what the pattern described. She has it so they aren't right next to each other. They're more evenly spaced out once you finish the heel and you start to do the pattern on the back. I was out with my husband, and I only had the pattern page for the top of the foot, so I just did the same thing on the back. And they're socks. I'm not going to be looking at the sides of my legs that often in them, so I didn't really care. I made this is the second one. I just made it to match the first one. And I did do the upside down heel flap and gusset, and it works great. I love the way they fit. Typically, I do fish lips kiss heels. That was my second pair of socks. I started to do that heel, and this fits so much better. And the traditional heel flap and gusset also fits so much better than the fish lips kiss heel. Ugh. So I think I'll be doing more of those, definitely. But yeah, so first pair done. Second pair you haven't even seen before, because once I finished, well, I'm not gonna lie, I started these before I even got halfway through that second sock, but they were super quick. because they are shorty socks. And after I talked about the Fish Lips Kiss heel, here's one. But since it's kind of a self-striping yarn, I decided to just put it in because it was easy and I didn't want to disturb the striping. So here it is. It is made out of Morocco sock, and it is a 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon blend. It is not the softest sock, but I don't mind. I wanted some little shorty socks so I could wear them with shoes, or I have a pair of Oxfords that if I'm wearing a skirt or something, I don't want super high socks, especially in the summertime. So these just come up to the top of the shoe, and they're perfect. And I did finish the second one. It looks pretty funny. I did these toe up 64 stitches on size 0 needles. Oh, the Longing for Spring socks, I did those on, they're 64 stitches as well, but they are a size 1 needle, and the pattern, once you start doing the pattern, you drop down to 31 stitches on each needle, so it's technically a 62 stitch sock once you get up to the leg. But these are 64 stitches on zeros. This is usually my go-to sock stitch count. I love the fabric the zeros give. It's nice and thick, and 64 stitches fits perfectly. These fit perfectly and I love them. I did them toe up. Don't really measure the foot too much. I just keep putting it on, and then once I feel like I can put the heel in, I put the heel in. It's a Fish Lips Kiss heel. Not the best fitting for me, but it does its trick, and it actually fits really well in this sock for some reason. So maybe I'm just getting better at it. I just started knitting socks last year, so that might be the case, and maybe the heel fits just fine. But yeah, I didn't use a pattern. I just kind of went for it, and I kept trying it on, especially once I did the heel, because I did not want them to be super tall. So I did Fish Lips Kiss heel, 10 rows of stockinette still, and then 15 rounds of ribbing. I did a stretchy bind off, which essentially is you knit 2 stitches, and then when they're on your right hand needle, you knit them together through the back loop and keep it 1 stitch on your needle. So it's super stretchy. It does flare a little bit, which is fine. I don't mind it because it's a pair of socks, and once they're on my feet, they lie perfectly flat. They're awesome. With the leftovers of the yarn, I think I can get another pair of socks out of these. This did not take a lot of yarn at all, so I will have 4 pairs or 4 socks that I can mix and match because they do not match. I didn't want to go through the yarn and make them match perfectly. So yeah, those are my 2 finished objects. I don't have any half objects this week because I did just finish that pair of socks. I was frantically knitting away on it yesterday. Like, I'm this close, just get them done so I can wear them. And that might have been a little more incentive to film this video today instead of just waiting. I wanted to wear my socks and not have to wash them and throw them outside to dry before I showed them to you. So yeah, those are my finished objects. Not that is my finished objects. That's not proper. But I did sort another pair of socks. This is in a Lone Larch product bag. Little deer and trees on it. And I may have spilt coffee all over it, so I'm not going to show you the inside fabric because it was white at one time, and oh my god, there's a hair on me somewhere. There it is. This little suckers tickle. It was white at one time, and now there's a big old coffee stain in it. Oops. I'm sure I could wash it, but it's one of my favorite bags, and I just keep throwing new stuff in, so. It hasn't had time to be washed. I have started another pair of socks. Yes, they are black. And they do have a lace pattern as well. They are very similar to the Longing for Spring socks in the terms of the lace pattern. Can you see the lace pattern? Kind of. Not at all. I'll show you the pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. so I have no problem showing you this. You just fold it so it's not super crinkly. That is what the pattern looks like. It is the lace wing socks, and the pattern's by Susie Bono for Cascade Yarns, and it is really gorgeous. And it's essentially the same as the Longing for Spring socks, but so you do this kind of flare, and instead of doing this is a central double decrease. There, you don't do that row, so it just does the two closer eyelets, two farther away, two closer, two farther away, and then up. And that's also a free pattern, so I don't mind telling you about that either, because you can just find it on Ravelry and compare the two. But yeah, so these are my socks. They are knit on my size 1 Chiagu interchangeable minis, and they were 64 stitches through the cuff. I did 12 rows of 1x1 twisted rib, which you can't see. And you can kind of see. You can kind of see the, oh look, they lined up perfectly. Look at that. You can see them. Haha! I win! 1x1 twisted rib for 12 rows. 64 stitches, and then I decreased 1 stitch as the pattern calls for because it is a 7-stitch repeat, and have done I think 3 or 4 repeats of the pattern. And yeah, the yarn I'm using is this beautiful Juniper Moon Farm Harriet Fine. It is an 80% alpaca, 20% nylon blend, and oh my gosh, it's so soft. I love it so much. And I know alpaca is not the best for socks, but I figured a lace sock pattern shouldn't be too bad. And then once they bag out, because they will stretch out because alpaca is really drapey, I'll just wear them over tights. And they shouldn't be super, super hot because alpaca is also super, super warm because of the lace pattern. So yeah, that's started those last night when we got home. And I love them so far. I see them going very quickly. Sorry for all the cleavage. It's warm for here today. It's not super warm. There's a big old bumblebee that just went by, sorry. It's not super, super warm. It's probably going to be about 80 degrees today, but our max temperature, I think the hottest I've ever seen it is probably about 93, 94. So 80 is pretty warm, and yesterday was very warm as well. So, tank top, half wet hair. It is what it is. I'm sure you understand. You're probably sitting in shorts and a tank top with wet hair watching me right now too. So it's life. My next work in progress is in just a super dog hairy bag, and it is my dad's sweater, and I did not get a ton on it. Ton done. I didn't get a whole bunch done on it, but it's getting there. I should definitely have it done by Father's Day, that's for sure. So there is the bottom. Oh, hold on. There we go. That's the bottom. I've probably done, I've gotten quite a bit done, actually. So that is my progress keeper from last time. I have finished the double seed stitch or double moss stitch section of the body, and I'm now onto the ribbing. And I totally forgot to tell you what this is. This is the Boatyard Pullover by Hannah Fettig. You can find it in her book, Texture. And I downloaded the ebook, or I bought the ebook version of it and printed out the pattern, which is over there. I can't show you the picture because I don't really feel like getting up. But yeah, I'm about halfway done with the ribbing, and then I'll be done with the body. It's about 3 inches of ribbing. There will be about 3 inches of ribbing. This is about 1.5 inches. And then I can start on the sleeves. I am going to have my husband try on the sweater for length before I start on the sleeves, because this is for my dad and it is a complete surprise. I want to make sure that it fits. And my husband is roughly the same height as my dad. He's a little bit smaller in the chest area, so it'll be baggier on him, but that's totally fine. I just want to make sure that it's long enough, since I have no reference to go off of other than my mom going, yeah, he's like a large, extra large in shirt size, and don't tell him that you're making this because I want it to be a surprise. So hopefully it fits. And if it doesn't, if it fits my husband, then we're all good. I'm having problems. Okay, so now that that's been put away, I can show you my next project, which has not gotten a lot of love. I don't have a progress keeper on it, but for how small it is, a tractor just went by, so if my dogs start barking, I will pause and come back. But they actually seem to be doing pretty good. Good girl, Dixie. Yeah. You're so hairy. Yeah, she's so fluffy. She's so shedding right now. We have a de-matter undercoat comb in our post office box that I have to go and pick up tomorrow, since it's a holiday today. The post office is closed, so cannot wait for that. She is not going to be happy with me trying to hold her down, brushing all of her undercoat out, but my floor and her will be much happier once it's all done. So surprisingly, they did not bark. And here is my measly little sweater front that I worked on a teeny bit. Last time, I think it was probably about here. So I did get quite a bit of it done. I am right up to where I decrease for the armhole. Start doing the decreases on one side. So I figured that was a good place to stop, so I don't have to do 20 more rounds doing the decreases on this side. But yeah, it is. I'll chug along on it. I've just been distracted by socks and other things, and this because I am not using a pattern. I am using the Knitter's Handy Book of Sweater Patterns, and going off of that loosely. That's for the bust measurement and the armhole decreases and whatnot. Everything else is kind of in my head on paper notes. I don't really want to travel with that, so if my husband and I are going out, or if I'm going to the grocery store and I'm going to be stuck in road construction, I don't really want to bring that because I have to reference the papers and the book and a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just way easier to leave here. So it hasn't gotten a lot of love. But then again, the thing that has been getting a lot of love is something that's not very portable as well. Well, not necessarily not portable. If I wanted to take it somewhere, I could definitely take it with me, but it's a little more difficult. But yeah, so that, as I said, I'm not really using a pattern. I am knitting it on US size 2 interchangeable needles. My gauge is about 7 stitches to the inch, and it's on a fingering weight yarn. I guess I could show you the yarn. I'm alternating skeins. So there's 2 of these puppies. They are 100% Rambouillet. They are so soft and squishy. I love this yarn. Love, 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 love. I'm pretty sure that I can get away with this sweater being made just out of 2 balls of this yarn. I think it's about 450 yards for 100 grams. And we'll see. I'm going to make the sweater arms 2 at a time on the same needle. So when I do that, I'm going to pull from the center and the sides of each ball and alternate skeins, and I'm just going to go as long as I can, so hopefully they're full length. If they're not, and they're 3/4 length, that's absolutely fine too. I don't mind, but I would prefer to not break into the other skein that I have if I don't have to, so we shall see. And it is a very cropped sweater. It hits right at the small of my waist, or it should hit right at the small of my waist. That's what I'm hoping for, so we'll see. Yeah, so let's get into what has been taking up most of my knitting time. And it's conveniently is in my procrastinating bag. And that is this pattern right here. That's me. It is a paid for pattern, so let me pull up the page, the front page, so you don't see anything that could be paid for. It is the Flea Cardigan. This does not have the actual name on it, so I don't get to butcher the pronunciation of it. I just see Flea, a lady's cardigan. So yeah, I started it. I know last time I said I was going to wind up the balls and do a swatch. I did about half the swatch and then liked it. My dryer's done. I liked it, so I was like, you know what, we're just gonna go right into it, and I did. And I've never had 3 sweaters on the needles before, and it's a little crazy, but we're doing it. So I am joining in Ellie of Skein Deer Knits podcast and Kristen of the Yarngasm podcasts knit along for this cardigan. And this is what I have a ton of ends because I've been cutting them. Every time I change color, I have not woven any in. This is what I have so far, and I absolutely love it. Hopefully you can see that because I cannot see the camera. It is amazing. I just want to keep working on it and working on it and working on it. It is addictive. I've never done this much color work before. I've made the bobble hat or babble hat. I should grab that one day and wear it. Not right now because it's way too hot, but I've made that, and that was the most expensive color work that I've ever done, and that was the first time I've ever done color work. So since then, my husband's beer socks, and this is way more colors than his beer socks. So, but I love it. It is going super well. I do have, now it's way rolled up now, so this is the amount of the swatch that I did before I decided, yes, I'm going to do it. I kind of knew that I was going to do it before I even started swatching, because what I did for the pattern, because my colors are nowhere near the colors in the charts that they give you for color choice examples that you can go off of, I went and did an Excel spreadsheet, which I'm just going to flash really fast because this has the color work on it and it's a paid for pattern. But I did the Excel spreadsheet with my colors, roughly. They definitely, as you can tell, are not as bright of colors, but I wasn't going to spend hours trying to make the perfect color when that already took me quite a while to get everything in order. And I still missed a row, which thankfully I caught while I was knitting that and went, this doesn't look right. So I referenced the color sheets that they have, or the color charts, I guess, that they have. And it's like, yep, I totally skipped that row. So I'm through that, and hopefully I haven't skipped any other ones because I wouldn't know, because I'm just going off of my chart now. But I love it. I have one more set of increases to do, and then I will be done increasing. I'm probably about, let's see, where is it? 2/3? No, I'm just over halfway done with the, 2/3. We'll say 2/3 because it does have part of the body color work in the chart. So probably about 2/3 done with the color work for the yoke, and then I will be just onto the body color work, which I cannot wait for. There are all of my ends right there. But you know what? It's going great so far, other than missing that one row on here and having to rip back about 3/4 of the length, or 3/4 around. It's been great. I haven't, knock on wood, I don't think I've messed up any of the color work, and if I have, I haven't noticed it, so we're all good. And if I do notice something, hopefully it's not that noticeable. But I love it, and I'm addicted to it, and I cannot wait to finish this so I can work on it. Yay! But I think it's awesome. And let me tell you about the yarns. So this is Cascade Heritage Silk. Again, it's the same color that I used for my Longing for Spring socks. It is the kind of off-white beigey color, like 5074 or something like that. I don't think I have the ball band, but let me look. I might have it. I do. Oh, and it's 85% superwash merino, 15% mulberry silk. I lied. 5681 is the colorway. So this is the colorway for the Longing for Spring socks, and this, that is my color number 2. And then all of the rest of these are Quince & Co. Finch. That they are not, this sweater is not made out of the kind of rustic yarn that it calls for, but this is, everything is from my stash. So I felt way better using this yarn from stash than going out and buying this many, six colors, 5 contrasting colors, 1 main color from my local yarn shopper online. Felt way better using this yarn from stash than I did going out and buying that much for this sweater. So it's all Quince & Company Finch. Let me kind of give you a show here. My horribly balled up Cascade Heritage Silk. And then we have, this is some of the pink. It is Quince & Company Finch, and I have all the tags right here. I just have to organize them. Shell. This is Shell. So that is one of the contrasting colors there. This is Lickin', and it is a really pretty green. I was really nervous about this green, actually this section right here. Where the green is, if you can see that. Green and the brown. I was afraid that that was not going to look good, and I did not get to that part in the swatch, so I was really, really nervous, but it looks good. I like it, and there's no going back now. I'm not ripping that far out unless I find a horrible mistake. My next one is, this is the main color. Get some of the dog hair off of it because it is everywhere. This is Quince & Company Turn in Prout's Neck, and I've only used it in 2 rows, just teeny bits so far. But that is that. This is Quince & Company. Obviously, it's Quince & Company. I told you they were all Quince & Company. I'm not sponsored by them. This is actually some of the first yarn that I ever bought from them because I wanted to try them out, and I knew you could use it for socks. This is Bark. And last but not least is, oh, I'm working with it, that's why it's all crazy. This one is Twig. And I absolutely love them. I am working this on the recommended needle size. It is a US 2.5. The ribbing was on a US 1.5. I am using Addi Turbo Rockets for them, and these do say that I'm using size 1s and size 2s, but if you look at the millimeters, it is a 1/4 millimeter larger than what size 2 should be, and a 1/4 millimeter larger than what size 1s would be, so that makes them 1.5s and 2.5s. But I love these needles. I have a ton of Addies. I'm an Addi addict. If they're fixed needles, as in you can't change the cords out, most of the ones that I have are Addies. My interchangeables are all Giagus. And yeah, I'm loving it so far. When I did my swatch, I did not get gauge. I'm about a stitch smaller in stitch count. So I was going to make the smallest size if I got gauge. I'm making the medium, which has quite a few more stitches than the small. And the small has I think it's a 35-inch bust, which I wanted this to fit with a little bit of negative ease to no ease, and I have a 35-inch bust, so it would have fit perfectly. The medium, I think, is like 38, a 38-inch bust. So I'm fairly confident that this will fit me with little to no ease, or little to no negative ease, which will be perfect. And if it's slightly big, it's slightly big, and that's fine too. I highly doubt that it's going to be too small, just because of the stitch numbers and the dog hem, dog hair. But yeah, hopefully this gets some more love, and next time you see it, you're gonna be like, you didn't work on anything other than that sweater. Stacy, what's wrong with you? And I just love it. So I am toying with an idea. Those are all of my projects. I am toying with this idea, and I want some opinions on it. If you could leave a comment below and let me know what you think. But I was thinking about starting a cal or a knit-along for this summer, and it would end in the fall. And what it would be I would call it the Summer of Sweaters cal, or make along, because you could crochet them as well. But I was watching oh my gosh. So I was watching the Legacy Knits podcast with Chelsea and Sue, and they were talking about how they wanted to knit all of their sweaters this summer to have them for the winter, or the fall and the winter. And it was like, oh my god, that would be amazing, because I have 2 sweaters for myself and 1 sweater for my dad on the needles right now. So essentially what it would be a knit along or a make along to finish all of our sweaters before the fall. And that way when fall rolls around, we will have a plethora of sweaters that are already done, and we can wear them and enjoy them while we knit more. And it won't, to qualify, it doesn't necessarily have to be for you if you have any sort of sweaters on the needles now. Baby sweater, child sweater, adult sweater, you, friend, father, husband, sister, mother, anything like that will count. Just finish the sweaters before you can wear them, and that way when it's time to wear them, you'll have them, and you won't be in a rush to go, oh my gosh, it's freezing outside and I need this sweater and I want to wear this sweater so bad, but I still have to do both sleeves and yada yada yada. And I know that during the summer it's not the best time for knitting sweaters because all of that wool or whatnot is in your lap, but I think we can do it. I tend to knit just in the evenings anyways, so it's a little bit cooler. Sit by an open window or sit outside and knit on my sweaters. And my one that's in pieces is really, really great because it's not fully in my lap. And the only time it will be in my lap will be, will be when I'm seaming it together. So I really like this idea. If nobody has any comments on it, I still might do it. And if nobody puts any objects into a finished objects thread or knits along with me, that's fine too, because I will have finished sweaters for the fall, and that's my main goal. I want sweaters done for the fall. So yeah. Rebel, what are you looking at? Want to come over? I think he's gonna come over and say hi. Come here. Come here. Come say hi. Oh, you licked my ear. He's my baby. This is my baby. Come here. My big baby. My long dog. Yeah, there we go. There's a good face shot. Yeah. Oh, you kissed me. Oh, you kissed me. And that's my long dog. Whoop. There we go, buddy. So yeah, I think that's all knitting related things that I wanted to talk about. And I hope you're enjoying my podcast so far. And if you have any comments or advice or anything, please still feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I totally forgot to let you guys know where to find me. I do have a podcast group on Ravelry. That's the Twisted Threads podcast. You can find it by searching for Twisted Threads podcast. I will put how to spell everything up here, and on Instagram and Ravelry you can find me personally as Stacy Lee with 5 E's, and I will also put the spelling up as well because that's not conventionally spelt. And yeah, I also started a new Instagram page for my hand-dyed yarn company, which I have not mentioned before because I am in the process of kind of revamping everything. So what I have originally done was basic, oh, he's trying to leave. There we go. You can hop off now. Basically just do, you know, superwash merino, nylon, sock yarns, stuff like that, the normal yarns. But what I've recently been really interested in is kind of ethically grown and sustainable wools from mainly the United States. That would be the easiest for me to attain rather than having them imported from another country. So I have brought in some of that wool, and I'm working on dyeing it up into my normal colorways. If you have any interest in checking that out, I have an Instagram page. It's Twisted Threads Yarn. I also have an Etsy shop, which is Twisted Threads Yarn as well. And I'm still working on getting the ethically sourced and sustainable wools in and dyed. I have a ton of cones to wind some yarn off of and dye up. So there's not much in the shop right now. There is one base that I'm testing out, which is a from a Colorado farm. They have Corriedale and Tunis mix, or Corriedale lambs and Tunis lambs, or sheep. And they do a 50-50 blend of their fleeces together and then spin them with a 25% nylon. So I feel like that is going to be a good sock yarn, and it is slightly thicker than the average sock yarn. So it's more heavy fingering to sport weight when it blooms. After I dyed it and I washed it, it definitely blooms a lot. But it is really nice. It is definitely more rustic. So if you're interested in rustic yarn, specifically rustic sock yarn that has some nylon in it for strength, that would be one to check out. It's probably about the same scratchiness level as the Baracco socks that I knit, which you can't feel. But if you've ever knit with that wool, you'll know. It's just a kind of heavier, not heavier. I don't want to say scratchy because that's not what I mean. Oh well. It's kind of a rougher's not a good word either. Darn, I can't think today. I need more coffee. More coffee. It'll come to me after I finish the podcast. I'll go, that would have been the perfect word to use. But oh well. So I think it's going to be a good base. And then I also have brought in some certified organic US grown merino wool as well, which I'm going to try out as a sock base. So we shall see. If you guys have any interest in that, let me know as well, because I am really interested in doing this type of sock yarn. I will still have a superwash base and probably my MCN base as well, just because I love them and I love knitting with those. And I know some people don't want the non-superwash wools and they'd rather have superwash. So I'm totally okay with that, but I'm really, really interested in the kind of US grown, small farmed yarn that I can get, and my dogs are playing there. there. Which I totally forgot. I should show you what we got while we were yard sailing. So, enough with the shop talk. And I don't want this podcast to be solely based on me promoting my shop. Of course, if there's something that I love, I will talk to you about it. But, hey, use Rebel, use your inside voice. Hey. Thank you. Good boy. No. You can come back up here. Here. So if there's something that I love, I will still talk to you about it. And if you're interested, I will show you colorways. But I don't want to solely be promoting my shop because I did not start this podcast to put my shop out there. I'd rather it, just sell a couple skeins of yarn here and there, my craft fairs locally, fiber fairs locally, and sell through a couple shops here. But if you're interested, I will definitely show you. But to get more online traffic is not my main goal. But if it happens, I won't complain. Let me move my coffee out of the way. Hopefully that stays. It's kind of hanging off. So, yard sales. My husband and I love yard sailing. And I haven't been able to go yard sailing in forever. Probably we went one Memorial Day weekend 3 or 4 years ago. But that's it. I've always worked weekends and holidays. So I've never had a chance to go yard sailing. And finally this year, because I'm now doing my bookkeeping from home, I can take weekends off. Hey. They never play unless I'm talking to somebody or doing something that they need to be quiet. So, yard sales. I got a couple of things. Rebel. I know she's attacking you, but shh. I got a couple of things. My husband scored mostly on tools and stuff, so he got the bulk of the yard sailing scores, but I did get 2 things which are amazing. $2, and it is 2-hole thread, and I'm planning on hanging it on the wall, but it comes with everything. It's got the case, the main frame to hold all of your spools of thread, and it has the stand to stand it up on a tabletop, which I do not have the space for that. Our house is barely 600 square feet. Hey! Stop! Dixie! Our house is barely 600 square feet, so we do not have floor or table space to put this up. But I do have some wall space. I could probably put it like right there. Maybe. We'll see. If it's there next time, it fit, and if it's not, then it didn't. So I got that for $2, which is awesome. And my next score is the biggest score that I've ever had. That is the Incredible Sweater Machine. So it was the Incredible Sweater Machine. Sorry about that. I got distracted. My husband came back in from being over in our shop working. So took a quick little break, but it was the Incredible Sweater Knitting Machine, and oh my goodness, I got it for $2. We went to one of the local churches, and they had a huge yard sale, and I found it underneath a pile of yarn. It wasn't priced, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are like $250, and it's older. I'm older than it, so I can't really call it old. But I'm so excited to use it. I pulled it out yesterday, set it all up. It is missing a couple of parts, but I can find them. I've already purchased their replacement parts, and they're coming in from Canada, so they should be here in about a week, and it will work perfectly. I've tested it. It picked up the yarn. The pieces that I need are these weighted hems that you hang on needles, so it holds the yarn down. But it seems to work perfectly otherwise, and I'm in it about $42 now, as compared to buying one new for $250-ish. So I think I got a steal of a deal, and if I can get it to work, I've read a few blogs on it, and people have said that it's pretty finicky and to take your time with it, but as long as I have some patience, I think I can get it to work, and we shall see. I'm really, really excited. I told my husband, because he doesn't want me to make him sweaters because he doesn't want to wear them and ruin them, because he does construction and works on cars and gets covered in dirt and grease on a daily basis. So I told him, I was like, if I can get this thing to work, I will make you sweaters, and I'll just use, like Lion Brand, Fisherman's Wool right there, or the like acrylic wool blend, and pump those out, and he won't have to worry about ruining them, because it'll have literally cost me like $20 in yarn. Or I'll just make them all in black, and I'll never know if they're greasy or not. But I'm so excited. That I did not think that I was going to get one of those, and I did not think they were going to tell me it was $2. I walked up with it, and they were like, the women who were pricing things, because we got there quite early, she was like, wow, if you can make that, I want it. There's a picture of like a ugly floral sweater. And just like, imagine all the ugly Christmas sweaters you could do. I know. I can't wait. I think the tractor's coming back by. I hear things. But yeah, I think that's about it. And squirrel. I'm so excited. I might have the parts for it in my next podcast. We shall see. I did pay for UPS shipping from Canada, so it should be here in about a week, as compared to 2 or 3 from Canada Post. So we shall see. If I do get the parts and I can get it in and figure it out, I might film myself doing a little bit of knitting with it, and maybe I'll pop it in the next video. If I can't figure it out, then it won't be in there, and you'll find out next week. But I think that's it now, and Rebel is back to people watching outside, and bird watching, and squirrel watching. He knows I'm talking about him because he's looking at me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate everybody that watches, and if you watch all the way through, I appreciate you even more, because that means you must like me. And that might not be the easiest thing to do for some people. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for sticking around and watching me all the way through. And there's been some distractions this podcast, so I hope it's okay. But I got it up. Got it out. Not got it up. Got it out, and here it is. So let me know about the wools that I mentioned for my Etsy shop and local shop here. I really do want to know. I want opinions on it, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So have a great week. Have a great Memorial Day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.